It's our first podcast.
Okay, cheers. Cheers. We have to start off this way. Okay, we're clinking our wine glasses for those who are not watching on video.
Okay. So we were just talking about microphones. We just bought these at the store because we thought we had to really have great equipment.
That's right. That's right. We've got to do this. Like everybody told us, like, don't go cheap on the microphone.
Yes, that was
the advice.
A big
for podcasting people, which we now are.
We are podcasters. Okay.
Did y'all hear that?
So we were at the store and I wanted to test the sexy voice on the mic.
Right.
And I was like, hello, testing.
And test.
And this guy stopped in his tracks.
And he
literally,
Christy,
he was staring. In fact, the sales guy at the store was getting concerned that this guy was enamored
about us.
I know.
I felt like Luke was going to protect us.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do too. He was about to.
We have to give a shout out to Luke at
Guitar Center. Yep.
Who's really, really nice.
He is awesome.
And
so
he sings, he plays guitar. I don't think this is really his jam, the whole mic thing, but he was here for it. He wrote down the name of our podcast. So
he did.
Luke, if you're listening, hey.
Hey.
You guys go visit him.
We love our mics.
We are not being sponsored by Guitar Center.
Nope.
They are taking no blame for what we're doing here. But yeah, you kind of got hit on. I mean, like,
that was cuckoo.
You know, you've still got it, you know?
I mean, he was my dad's age.
Yeah, probably. But, you know, there's always that. If it doesn't work out with Jason,
I know to go back to Guitar Center and find my next catch.
And do the mic test, and someone walk around the corner and go,
someone will stop and be like,
wait. Like, what was that?
Okay, so a quick introduction. I'm Christy.
This is Christy Smith.
I'm Christy Smith, and I've got a blog here in Fort Worth called So Fort Worth It. All the social media fun. I've been doing it for a decade. I started out with Fort Worth Magazine, and this is Laurie Mitchell, and she is my favorite therapist.
Yeah, I'm Laurie Mitchell. I've been in practice for a long time. I don't want to age myself. Let's just say I have a lot of experience working in the field of private practice, but also I've done agency work, treatment facilities, hospitals, substance abuse work.
And EMDR.
A lot of anger management. I do EMDR. I love that. I've been properly trained, I should say, to do EMDR, and not everyone is, but I feel very well trained to do it. And also I lead some seminars, self-help, it's kind of like emotional boot camp seminars for a nonprofit that I run. And I'm just all about the helping of the people. Believing in people and believing that we all deserve to heal from the things that hurt us.
Yes.
And all those things. So Christy and I.
Can I go back a little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit of history?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit of history, not too long. I was born, had learning. I was born. That's how it all starts.
Oh, God.
I was born with all kinds of fun stuff. And I developed ADHD shortly after my 2-year checkup. And all of the things that come along with ADHD can be very challenging. And I found myself going to a lot of therapists growing up. You know, I tried this person, I tried that person. They were great. Always
finding
great.
Your soulmate, finding the right therapist. It's not an easy thing.
It is.
And if you don't go to a good one,
I know, you just feel like
then you
just
think therapy doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's really, maybe that just wasn't your person.
True. And so several therapists over the years from age of 5 up. I mean, it's kind of like dating in a strange way.
A little bit, yeah.
So in 2008, I was dealing with some postpartum depression. And I also was dealing with a lawsuit at the time. That's so fun. Actually, I don't even think it was a lawsuit. I think it was like mediation stuff. It wasn't really courtroom stuff. It was just mediation.
It was just stuff that was stressful.
Yeah? Yes, it was heavy dealing with postpartum, a non-sleeping baby, and all of that junk.
Any additional stress can push anybody over the edge.
Someone, long story short, someone just kind of took us for some extra money, and we needed to rectify that. So overbilling, you know how all that fun stuff goes. So I just kind of had this melt, and my husband and my parents immediately reached out to, it was Alina Pope Home, because my parents were on the board at the time, or someone was on the board, and they immediately recommended Laurie, not Laurie. And so within about 24 hours, I found myself in the hot seat in your office. And of course, you know, when you see a new therapist, you start, well, I was born in 1975 and da, 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 da. So you kind of have a lot of catching up to do, especially when you're in your 30s versus like, you know, some first incident when you're a teen. So anyway,
Yeah.
that was 2008. And I knew after, it was about a couple years I was seeing you. You know, because then you're talking about one thing and then you're really actually unpacking some baggage and you're like, oh man. So that's why I feel this way, is because of something that happened to me in high school, or
You
you know,
start to connect the dots.
yes. So and you just can't do
Yeah.
this overnight. And you can't do it like 3 times a week. So 2 years later, we're just working through it. And she really was the very best therapist I had ever been with.
Thank you.
We moved mountains. I solved problems. We checked those boxes and we kept moving on, and then I just became fabulous.
I know. And she's fabulous. And you guys already know that. I know that. I have had, and may I speak freely, by the way?
Yes.
Should I'm getting
I
permission.
am open.
It's
I'm an open book.
recorded. Also, no code of ethics were violated here. It's
Mhm.
been a long time, and we are.
Because we really don't.
Yeah.
We wanted to actually, I wanted to call this drinking with my therapist, but there was some
no,
gray area that
that
came with
just
that.
really implied something. And
Yeah.
I certainly have taken enough heat in my life. I don't need to add
I
that.
know. And
add that to the file.
we're not in therapy right now. We are girlfriend talk.
So, and yeah, and it's one of those things that I will just say without sharing any details, obviously, even if she gives permission, which she just did, y'all heard it. But I will just simply say that Christy is one of those people that is super humble, super willing to look at herself. And also, I mean, she's like such a great example of somebody who doesn't pick up shame very well. Like you, I mean, we're all capable of doing that, but you were just like, oh, you know, if I would run into Christy somewhere, she'd be like, oh, buddy, this is my therapist, which was not the thing to do. It's still not the thing that people do.
I'm
But
like, I have the best
back
therapist.
then, she's like, oh, you guys, this is, you know, and I'd be like, oh, are you sure you want to, you know, it felt like we were having an illicit affair.
Oh, yeah.
But we were not. To be clear, nobody gets to run with that one. But anyway, so Chrissy is just the most lovable person and always like here for it, wants to learn, wants to grow. And like us all, you know, she has her moments where she's like, oh crap, I stepped in it, or oh crap, what do I do about this? Or I'm really struggling here or there. What do I do? You know, and we have kids and all these other things, as everyone does, right? Chrissy's just a human being. I'm a human being. And so she was coming to another human being saying, hey, can you kind of help me navigate these rough waters? And we have all had those things. And anybody who says they haven't is lying.
Yeah.
So
true.
I actually say that I worry about the people who don't get therapy. I'm not worried about the ones that ask for help.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think everybody needs a therapist.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like you're going to go to the gym and work on this specific muscle, but you won't go and address the fact that you have distorted thinking.
Yeah.
Like what's up with that? You see a little fingerprint on that mirror. You're going to make sure you pull out that Windex. You're going to handle it, right? But you're not going to tackle the fact that you can't speak to your spouse without yelling.
Yeah. Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Right. And I think it's the shame factor, but we'll get into that and so many more topics as we move through this. But one thing I have to say, this is the responsible therapist in me, is this is not therapy, you guys. Yes, I'm a therapist, but I'm not giving anybody specific advice and that's not even really what we do, by the way, against some popular opinions. But this isn't therapy because I don't know your situation. I don't know you. Why are you asking me for? Okay, I'm just kidding. Why are you pressuring me like that? Okay, no. But I'm not doing therapy with someone I don't know. I'm not diagnosing people out there that I don't know. There could be a variety of variables that I have no idea about. So make sure that you seek your own professional help. That you're not out there, you know, going, oh, well, I do go to therapy because I listen to this podcast. That would be really irresponsible for us to imply that this is therapy because it's not.
No, it's not. I mean, we have not done therapy in a little while because we've been in a good space. I've been in a great space.
We had to make a choice, y'all.
It was either podcast or therapy.
I'm not violating.
It's kind of a combo.
I'm actually a rule follower. And so I'm going to be a big stickler on it's one or the other.
It's
So
one or the other.
yeah.
And I remember this because in 2008, I saw her for a couple of years, clearly. And things were just kind of, we had just kind of unpacked a lot of baggage. And all of a sudden, I'm like, just let me with Laurie. And like, I just didn't need you anymore. Can we be friends? And then we started going to luncheons. And
After a while, though.
yeah,
There
yes, it
a
was not immediate.
Appropriate ethics were followed, everyone. But yeah, Christy is delightful, and who wouldn't want to hang out with her? She's a hoot. Also, she's hilarious, but she asks the most unfiltered questions, and so I was like, well, let me give you answers to that. Right? There are some general answers that I think could help lots of people out. Things I think of as common sense.
Yes.
Because I've been doing this since like 2000, which is crazy. You're
I
like, no
know.
way are you
I know.
old enough to have.
You're old and seasoned.
And I'm really not. I actually went to graduate school when I was 5. That's my joke.
We're
and I'm
not that
sticking to
much
it.
difference
like
in age.
A prodigy, Doogie Howser, right here.
Uh,
But anyways, yeah. So also though, we started talking not terribly long ago, and we were talking about like all the craziness that's going on in our world.
How hateful people become, especially since
well,
especially since the pandemic hit. But also, we're talking about just in general, the past, say, since 2015, 14,
16 maybe.
Yeah.
I would say
it just started getting nastier out
before
there.
the 2016 election, probably that year prior, things started getting really ugly out there. Like all of a sudden, everybody's need to make sure that they navigated with kindness seemed to like fly right out the window. And it didn't matter, and we want to be very clear, it didn't matter like how you were voting or who you were voting for or what your beliefs were. It just seemed
tons of friends on the whole spectrum, and I get along with everyone.
And you guys should probably know Christy and I probably even share. I mean, I'm sorry, we probably differ even in some of our views, and we thought that was probably good to achieve some balance here and be able to kind of talk about it in a way. And hopefully, we'll give you guys a good example of what it looks like to actually like not agree on everything, but also like be able to just treat each other with kindness. Wow,
yeah, I know,
shocking. But we were talking about that, right? You remember?
Yeah, oh shoot, I can't.
Well, just
was it when my son came in yesterday and I yelled at him? I can't tell. He will have a cow if I say that.
No, I'm going to stop you right now.
I'm not going to say it, but it was really cute and everybody laughed. And well, yeah, my husband was here and another girlfriend was here and we were setting the equipment up and he walked in and I said something and I mean, Laurie's looking at me like,
yeah,
he's going to run from you.
Yeah, like you are going to push him away.
But it was cute. I mean, it's endearing and cute.
You think it's cute, but he is anything but that. He's like, all right, lady, I am not a 2-year-old. I'm not toddling around the house in my little pull-up.
I know.
I know.
He's
you
so
wish they were. I know.
Cute.
Christy and I both have children. That's good for you guys to know. We're both married. And yeah, I think those are good things for people to know. But I guess I was like going in that direction of like letting these guys know, like we started this podcast because like, I mean, why did you want to start it? Why don't we start with you? Because
I felt like, well, again, going back to, mean people. At the end of the day, we're dealing with mean and angry people. I mean, and a gamut of other fun stuff, but the world is just getting more and more hateful. And I've been doing this social media stuff for 10 years and I've kind of gotten used to just fly by night comments off of people's hits. I mean, like, yes. I mean, it's either because you said it this way or you wore this. I mean, it's like whatever. So
or I don't like your hair or
it's everything.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of grown some thick skin over the years because everything that people say is just beyond ridiculous. I was raised to treat everybody the way you want to be treated, kill them with kindness. If you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. I mean, like literally my parents raised us with the golden rule. And to this day, it is how I roll. And so just sometimes it's shocking that people are so horrible.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So,
it's been rough out there. That's what I'll say. And I think that a lot of people, and this is what I'm reminded of, is that a lot of people are just over it. we're just fed up. Like,
So over it.
and I think, and it's not to say that Christy's been perfect, I've been perfect, and none of us have been. At the same time, there just seems to be this shocking level of hatred and unfiltered, like, let me just verbally vomit, or let me just like
Make
write
something up.
something, out about somebody, make something up. Let me just trash talk on somebody. Let me even like say something that I know would humiliate them. Like the goal seems to be to
Annihilation
hurt.
and hurt. Yeah.
Annihilation. Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, there is a big difference. And so this is the professional talking. There's a big difference between accountability for one's actions and cruelty.
Yes.
And usually the people that are most effective in holding us accountable are those who genuinely love us, want to see us grow, want the best for us, and have worked up a lot of courage to say, hey, girl, you're getting in your own way right now, And so that's loving. And when we can receive feedback in a loving way from somebody we know is fighting for us, not against us and not with us, they want our best, then we can really hear it, right? If someone's being hateful, that is not the place that we move. It never has been for anybody. So I'm not sure why we went off the side of the cliff as a society, but we kind of did. And in some ways, I think we're getting a huge wake up call as human beings. Like we're really showing either our integrity, and our character right now, or we are showing the lack thereof. And it seems to be one of two extremes. And if you have integrity, then there are people out there that will like to immediately tell the world how you have none, even when that's not true, right?
When they're lacking the integrity.
Right. Even just by the way they're engaging it.
Yes.
Like, watch how somebody chooses to treat other people in front of you, not the gossip that you hear about somebody, right? But watch how someone engages a difficult situation, and then you will see a lot about their character, right? But regardless, you're not moving somebody by being hateful. And so your goal is getting revealed, right? Those who are smart enough and insightful enough to see through that know that your goal is to annihilate and to hurt and to cause harm and cause destruction, not to create change. We're not going to create change by being horrific to each other. So Christy and I were talking about, like, how do we bring people together again? Like, how do we unite, even just like the women of Fort Worth? Let's start there, right? How do we unite moms and women again so that we stop being pitted against each other, but also we stop turning on each other?
Yeah.
Like, what if we started there, and then what if it got bigger and bigger and bigger? Like, how do we do that?
Well, we're here to solve that problem.
We're going to solve every problem you have. We're here to fix that. You just listen to your moms, listen to your Aunt Christy and Aunt Laurie. We're going to tell you.
Yes. We're going to have homework for y'all later.
Said on another podcast one time. That's not my own joke. They were so cute. They're like, listen to your
Aunt Laurie.
I can't remember if it was moms
Christy.
or aunt, but it was like, listen to us. We know. Yeah, we'll say we're your big sisters. We feel younger that way. Yeah. Listen to your big sisters. We know, girl, because we've been there. Yeah. Learn from our mistakes.
So we're going to talk about how hateful social media has become and how you can be a kinder, better human. Like, you get what you give. If you're going to put poop in the world, then certainly you're going to get shoved some poop at some point, because karma is special.
Yeah. I believe they're like lessons, and you're going to get a lesson.
Yeah.
And
a big lesson.
Yeah. A big lesson, sometimes a small lesson. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's gotten hateful out there. And especially during the pandemic, when like, you can't go anywhere or do anything, then everybody just turned online to be hateful for some reason. Yeah.
I mean, Cuckooville. We're going to talk about, victim versus victimized versus victimization, which I did not even understand that until not too long ago. I just never understood what's the difference, and why is it bad for someone to claim to be a victim, but then they're still technically, but that's what victimization is.
Right.
Or victim. It's kind of all the same, but they're very different.
Should we just like talk about every one of these things right now? and just do a marathon and
A
go
marathon?
and just go until we solve everything.
It's going to be one podcast. That is it.
It's like I almost,
A
well, the
one and
reason I
done.
said that because I had to catch myself because I was like, no. She's
Three
just telling
hours
them.
later after you vacuum all your carpets
You
and
guys,
curtains.
I know you want to know about it, but she's just telling you the topic title. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you think
that I put down? Well, this really, we kind of threw a net out to our friends.
We did?
And people we knew and said, hey, what are some things you guys would want to ask a therapist? What are some things you'd want to know? Because there's a lot of people that that are hurting right now, and maybe they don't have the resources, maybe they don't have the courage right now to reach out and ask for help, but they do want to work on themselves, and maybe it can be really scary. It requires change. It requires us to deal with some painful stuff, but also sometimes we're going through so much that we're still trying to weather the storm, and we feel like that's not the time to go get help. We're going to wait till after it's over. It's not that way, but we'll talk about that more later. But yeah, and so, we just thought, hey, what are some topics? And so some of the ones I got were, how to navigate rough waters, right? Difficult times, struggles, how to weather the storm and be resilient, right? On the other side of it. Oh, this was another one I liked. How do you know when it's your issue or when it's their issue, whoever they are, right? Like, is that me? Am I crazy? Or is it that person? Like, whose issue is it? We'll talk more about that. Boundaries, relationships. Boundaries, not walls, right?
Yep.
But boundaries and relationships, navigating all kinds of relationships. Also, when to get help and what kind of help. Everybody's claiming to be an expert these days. And there are those of us who actually went to school, and 3,000 hours later and a whole bunch of experience, supervision, the grades, the tests, the board exam, all the licensing stuff. And come on, right?
Yeah.
So just because you went away for a weekend and said, let me see if I can ask somebody what their goals are, that doesn't make you a therapist. It doesn't make you qualified to diagnose. And there's a reason I'm saying that. It's not to knock down anybody. What it is to say is that really good help is necessary. I mean, there are people out there that are suicidal. And if they go to somebody who doesn't really know exactly what they're doing, even if their heart's in the right place, they could really experience something that could be as devastating as possible.
Yes.
Because as a result of just not getting the help they need, but thinking they're getting the help they need. And that's a dangerous territory. So, and that's probably something good to visit. I liked that somebody asked that. Oh, another person put, what does it mean to be a grown-ass woman?
Oh, that's multifaceted.
That's a big topic. We'll get into that. And then also, of course, how do you navigate social media? And also when you have differences with people in your family. That was the other one I got. Like, how do you navigate when there's even political and religious differences right there with family members, even maybe spouses or children?
Everything you just mentioned is something that I've been through in the past 12 months.
Okay.
I mean, technically,
Awesome. See?
we all go through it all the time.
So what you're really going to hear is Christy's live therapy sessions. We're just going to dive back in.
Technically, what it really boils down to is everyone has a lot going on and has a lot on their plate. And they're working through just the junk of life that, like right now, and my parents are still healthy, but I have so many friends who have parents that are becoming ill or ailing, and they're having to divide their time between raising kids, taking care of parents, and the gamut of that spectrum. I mean, we just got through going through it. Jason's mom had dementia, Alzheimer's for 10 years, and those last 3 years were just like, I just couldn't get my head above water, and he was the one that was doing all of it. I mean, it was just it's a lot of heavy stuff on everyone's plate. You just do not know what someone's going through at all, period. You can never judge a book by its cover.
No. And that is a good rule of thumb, to not judge a book by its cover. But we do that a lot as people, and it's really sad.
Yeah, it is.
And it's gotten us in a big ditch for sure. But also, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, when you said that, Jason's doing it all. I'm like, yeah, but then you're left to kind of hold down the fort.
Yeah, I mean,
so you lose your teammate in other areas, right?
I mean, he's like a Superman. He does it all anyway.
Well,
but he was doing it all and all and all.
The second greatest husband
Yes, because
ever.
your husband is the first
He
greatest.
is the first greatest. I have to brag. He is. No, and I say that we are not without our challenges.
Yeah.
Everybody has their challenges, right? So
Yeah.
I don't want to pretend like it's perfect. But I will say that it's lovely to be married to somebody who does their work and is willing to look at themselves and also like believes in you. Like
Mhm.
he believes in me and I believe in him, and you guys, have the same thing. So that's just a
He
cool
might
thing.
disagree with you on that.
Like I'm sure you've heard that, but it's like kind of that thing of like when I'm feeding the good stuff, when I'm honoring the good stuff, when I'm positively reinforcing the good stuff,
Mhm.
and that's the stuff I choose to engage in, then I'm going to operate as a better version of myself.
Yeah.
If I choose to swim in the crap, if I swim in the toilet, I'm probably not going to feel real good.
The turds always float to the top.
And that's true too. So, with that, we are so excited that you guys are here. Thanks for showing up, all 5 of you. And
All 5 of you.
Mom, Dad, are you out there? Yeah. Carol, Jim, Jason, Mark. Okay, wait. Yeah. Okay, we're getting there. We have 6.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
maybe our kids.
My sister-in-laws will chime in.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Okay, so we'll get
I
the
give a shout out
sister-in-law.
to
Oh, and Judy, my
Susan,
mother-in-law. She'll
Melissa.
listen. She'll
Oh,
listen.
oh,
Hi,
yeah.
Judy.
A shout out to Melissa, Susan, and
know.
Allison.
Oh yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for chiming in.
I know, right? And yeah, and then also, I have a stepmom, Jane. She'll listen.
Yeah.
And then 2, let's see, I don't know, our kids maybe. Our kids probably won't listen to
I
this. To
can't
be
even
honest,
get my
Yeah,
kids to
I
read
know.
anything normal
I know
these days.
you can't even get them to accept
Like,
your friend
please
request.
read the self-help book. No, I'm just kidding.
Why won't you read the self-help book? Yeah. Can you go read the Bible to cover, please, and report back to me? No, they're not going to do that.
Yes,
Okay.
$1 a page. Doesn't that work?
Wow.
Kidding.
That is
Totally
so
kidding.
loaded,
That is
and
so
there's so
kidding.
much to say about that, but I'm not
Totally
going to do
kidding.
that now. We'll save that for next time because guess what?
Yeah, that was bad.
Our time is almost up. No, that's a judgment. We're not going to judge you. This is judgment-free zone. So Chrissy, I think our time is up for today.
Oh man, I was just getting to the good stuff.
We'll see you guys next week. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. That's what helps us get our name out there.
I know.
And we're going to start with our topic next week, which you'll hear at the end because we haven't decided what's it going to be, Christy. Where should we start? I don't know. You'll just have to tune back in to find out. But we're excited, you guys. And thanks for joining us on this journey. And bye.
Bye.